Hey YouTubers, Zindrey here, back with the second video for Slay the Spire. Last time we took the Ironclad. This is a brand new save file, by the way, so we're starting from the beginning together. But we took the Ironclad through the first level and showed off kind of how you play the game. And I would say a slight bit of strategy on my part here and there, but obviously not at pro level. But we'll keep working on getting better together here while we play. And in front of us, we've got the map starting the second level of the Spire. And we're going to pick it up there. And I'm not going to explain as much, hopefully, as I did the last time. And so maybe this video will be a little quicker. I appreciate your patience if you stayed through the first one. And if you're interested and you haven't watched that one, please go back and you'll learn a little bit about the Ironclad if it's new to you. But we're going to keep on going here. Let's look at this new map and kind of get our bearings on what we've got to face. So obviously, first thing I noticed, if you start on the right, you're on a single path for quite a while. But you get a good mix of event rooms, monsters, a rest area. Rest area sounds like it's off the interstate somewhere. I don't know if that's the right campsite. Maybe that's the better way. I don't know, that still kind of has the same connotation. There's a merchant. Definitely will have to fight an elite. But that's actually still not that bad a path to me. Going the other way, any of these, I still have an opportunity for a rest. Even if I take on an elite, I've got at least one rest area. And a merchant. I have the merchant a little earlier. Now, I have 228 gold, so I can buy something if I get to a merchant. If I had a little bit more gold, I could probably have a better chance of getting something better, like a relic. So I'm thinking delay the merchant for a bit. I also have not really less opportunities to rest, and even in this way, I only have one opportunity to rest until the end. And actually, two. There's this one, so let's just go down the right side. I rarely see this, the map come out this way, but it's my fault either way if it doesn't work out for us. So let's go on. All right, my favorites, the birds. So these guys are irritating for a couple reasons. They have flight. They already take 50% less attack damage while they're flying. If you manage to hit one of them 3 times, I mean, it doesn't have to be like for their full HP or anything like that. Just 3 times, they lose their flight, they get stunned, they go to the ground. So you can kind of take them out of the fight for a turn by doing that. That's why AoE type attacks that can do damage to all 3 are nice for this. We don't have a lot of those in this deck right now. And their strength does tend to go up, so you really don't want them all hanging around. They also all have different HP values, so if I'm just trying to get somebody off the board here, so to speak, that first one's my best bet. I do have a flex. I'm going to go ahead and take that to get the 4 strength, and now I can do 36 damage. Now he's going to take 50% of that. But I think that's fine. It's not going to knock his flight down, but it's going to get him close to death. If I use a defend and strikes, I'm going to do about 11 damage to him total. And he's still not going to lose flight because it's only two attacks. And the block is really only going to nullify 5 points of damage. So I think I can get that back by killing him faster. So we got him down to 7. I forgot what our potion was from last time. Discarding any number of cards and then draw that many. Okay, I'm not worried about that right now. So we're going to take a little bit of damage in this fight. This is one of those enemies that always gets some HP in on you. And you notice they're all individual attacks. We don't have anything that, like thorns or anything that, like we saw in the boss from the last video, that will cause them damage when they hit us. But if we did, it makes short work of these guys. But not this time. So it's going to take 2 strikes to kill that guy, but he's going to do 12 points of damage. So I can use that 2 energy to get rid of an enemy permanently, or I can defend to get that block down to alleviate that 12 damage, but I still have to deal with him in the future. So the better play It's going to be 2, and I may not get him. Is he going to be at 1? Yeah, he's going to be at 1. I forgot about that. It wasn't total, it's per card. So, okay, so that kind of backfired. There's your first misplay of the episode, probably. But of all my choices that are left, I definitely want to take the best defend I have, so it'll be that 8. So I'm going to end up taking some damage this time just for miscounting. And I'm just going to have to deal with it. That's one of the reasons I hate these guys. And we don't have a... And there's our barricade again. That's not really helping us too much yet. Now this is good. This is an attack on all of them at the same time. This is good because it's an attack. It's going to give us block. We only have one that's attacking us this turn. So there's a couple things we can do here, actually. So I'm going to do this. I could use this opportunity to get the barricade out of my hand. But I don't think I'm going to be getting enough block to make that worthwhile right now. So I am going to give everybody 4 damage and a vulnerable. That's going to kill the first guy right off the bat. Now, you notice the flight counter on these guys is 2. If I damage either one of those 2 more times, they're going to be out basically for a round. So that's going to do 3 attacks to them, the sword boomerang. I'm going to do that on 1. Oh, it's random. Well, luckily it had to work itself out, I guess, to get one of them. And my block is 0, so that's not going to do me any good. And Iron Wave is the only other thing I can do, so I can get 5 more points of damage. Go ahead and do it on him. Not much difference. Oh, actually it did. Actually it did, because that was another attack, and that basically grounded both of them. So that's good for me. They're going to basically be stunned for a round. And it takes them another round, I think, before they gain their flight back. Now they can still attack, but they tend to be much weaker. So we're going to take our flex again, like we always do when we have it. We just need to be doing damage at the moment. We can go ahead and do this to mitigate the damage that they're going to give us. But let's go ahead and work on these guys as much as we can. Okay, that was enough to kill them with the vulnerability, so that was good. So we're going to block this last one, no problem. Although we've taken some damage in this this fight already. So he's going to gain his flight back. That's what we don't know what he's doing, but we do know what he's doing. He's going to take off again. So I don't need anything at all as far as defense. I just need damage. So my best way to inflict damage right now, I think, is to put vulnerability back on them, hit the boomerang again, and then hit them with a strike. And that's enough. That was enough. I wasn't sure that was going to be enough, but it was close. Speed potion. So this is like the flex potion, but it's for dexterity. I can gain dexterity, but I lose it at the end of the turn. Still not bad, and we have an empty slot up there. We could get another sword boomerang. We could get anger, cleave. Cleave, you're thinking probably, hey, it does damage to all the enemies. That's got to be good because it's AoE, but it's still only 8. And if you're really strengthed out, then yeah. I tend to find it not to be super good, but not as good as you would think. But it also is going to increase the size of the deck a little bit, and I'm not sure it's for much of a benefit, so I'm going to skip. And I'm already thinking, man, that campsite is really far away. So we'll have to see. Oh boy. So these guys are really tough. And to be honest, I don't remember the last time I've seen these guys on the 2nd level. So there's a good chance if I fight them, this will be the end of the run. And we're only 9 minutes in the video. So I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to give them my gold, as much as I hate to do that. But they're really tough, especially without block. A lot of block in the deck. So that hurts because now we don't have a whole lot to we don't have anything to spend at the merchant except for what we gain going forward. So that was bad. I've noticed that one comes up a little more often, it seems, like whenever you're got some extra gold in your pocket. So we've got an event at this spot. In Abandoned Temple, you find a giant book open, riddled with cryptic writings. As you try to interpret the elaborate script, it begins to shift and morph into writing you are familiar with. Now, I can leave right now, but A, I want you to see this, and B, there's usually a positive effect at the end, even if there's some negative effects along the way, because it is a cursed tome. But we'll read the book. odd. The book seems to be about an ancient named Niao. I think Niao is the giant whale thing at the beginning, that I couldn't remember his name at the beginning of the series. This piques your interest, but you have a general feeling of malaise. Well, I don't have a choice but to continue and lose an HP, which is not good for us right now. The Ancient of Resurrection, Niao, was exiled to the bottom of the Spire. Well, hey, that's where we were when we saw him. You can feel compelled to read more, but your body begins to ache, and I lose 2 more HP. Seeking vengeance, Niao blesses outsiders, using them for her own purposes. Well, that seems to be what we're doing right now for them. Starting to feel very weak and tired. So now, those resurrected by Niao remember only fragments of their past selves, cursed to fight for eternity. As you near the final page, your old wounds begin to reopen. So I can take the book and lose 10 more HP, or I can lose 3. Now, obviously, if I only had 10 HP left, I couldn't do it. I would lose the game. We're going to take the book and Incuridion, I think is how you say that. The start of each combat, add a random power card into your hand that costs 0 for that turn. So that can be pretty powerful depending on what you get. It can also give you a bunch of stuff you don't really care about, but hey, it still costs 0. So we're going to take that. Usually that works out for me. We'll see how it goes, but now I've got 2 combats I've got to go through before I can rest. And that could be bad. So this lady, yeah, she is interesting as well. She's got a mechanic that we're gonna have to deal with. So she does damage on like anybody else does on those turns, but she is going to give us a debuff that adds unusable cards into our deck when we play skill cards, like block. So kind of like the elite we fought on the first level, where we didn't block because it would give him more strength. We don't want to do it here because we're going to fill our deck up with useless stuff. We just need to do some damage. Now this one's here is great. This is another reason I like Iron Wave. We get block and deal 5 damage, but it's an attack card, so that's not going to trigger that effect. So we'll keep that in mind as we go. There's no problem with doing defends right now. And that triggered my Inkwell, so I got an extra card. So I'm going to nullify that damage right now because we don't have a lot of extra HP going around right now, and I'm looking for damage right now. And since I'm not going to be able to use my block that much, I'm not sure that dexterity potion up there is going to help us a whole lot. So at least we get through this first attack with her. Now she frequently shows up with one of the other little cultist guys, the little Caw guys, and with their strength going up and you not wanting to block, it can be kind of a bad combination. So at least we don't have to deal with that right now. So she's not going to attack. This is where she's going to put the suffer on us. And I'm thinking we just take the advantage right now to just deal as much damage as we can. So let's go for bludgeon. So that knocks off a big chunk of health. That sure helps. But now we have to deal with this effect. And to be honest, I still will use a skill if I really need to. And I think it actually may work for power cards too. Let's look at it. A non-attack card, so power and skill cards would give us a dazed card in our draw pile. So we have to keep that in mind. Skill cards, so even activating flex right now will do that. That's probably the exception where I'm willing to take that card. Now they will go away when they come around in my deck. They're ethereal, so they're going to go away at the end of the turn. But now that I've got that extra damage, I'm going to use it to whittle her down, and I'm not too worried about the rest of it. So really, for adding 1 day's card in our deck, we did a little bit more damage than we would have otherwise. So now, on top of that, she's added another effect. Now I'm weakened for 3 turns. So now my cards are going to do even less damage. And there's the day's card. That's going to go away at the end of this turn, but it's in my way right now. It's another card could have been there. I could use Bash to put vulnerable on her. And I could use that card, even though it's only going to do 3 damage, I'm still getting 5 block out of it. And that's only going to be a total of 6. So adding vulnerable to help make the next turn a little easier and getting a little bit of block, especially with 34 hit points, or doing 24 damage and getting her almost the rest of the way killed. And we're going to do that. It's kind of a tough call because the next fight could be even tougher than this one. It's just the way it goes with this game. It's cruel. It's a cruel game, but it's also really fun. So, because we're weakened, our 2 strike cards are not going to do it by itself. So we're going to have to do that. And we get 6 hit points back from our relic. Elixir, exhausting number of cards in your hand. We don't have anything else to put in its place right now. All right, 2 cards that are better for block than what we have right now. Now this one's ethereal, meaning that it's going to go away. So we use it when it comes up. If we don't use it, it's going to go away, but it's 10 block. So it is useful. But I like this one. 2 reasons. It's still 8 block. It's permanent. It doesn't go away like the ethereal card, but it also gives us some added card draw. We get to draw an extra card. So I love Shrug It Off, especially when it gets upgraded. And right now with 24 hit points, block is a good thing. So let's do that. Let's see if we can get through one more fight here before we can rest. It's always, no matter who comes up, you're never going to be happy to see who it is. This guy's a pain in the butt too. So he's got this malleable buff on him. Upon receiving attack damage, he gains 3 block. Block gain increases as malleable is triggered. Resets to 3 at the start of your turn. So you keep hitting him, he keeps getting more block. So it's kind of a pain. He's not going to do, he's going to do a buff right now. He's probably going to weaken me or make me vulnerable or something like that. So we still are dealing with only 3 energy. So I don't think we can outblock him anyway. We do have that Shrug It Off card now though, which is a little bit better than the others, but he also, we don't have a lot of hit points. We need to get going on him. So Iron Wave. You'll notice we didn't quite do as much because of his armor. And we'll go ahead and use the defend that we have. And Feebling Spores, that was the name of the buff or debuff I couldn't think of. Yeah, weakened for 2 turns, so now all my attacks are doing less. Great. And he's going to do 21 points of damage, and I have no block. So we may be seeing the end of this particular event here. So I really want block right now. So I'm going to drink this potion that lets me replace cards. Body Slam is worthless at the moment. Regular Strike is not real great. Still have all 3 of my energy. If I get blocks, I'm probably not going to have the ability to do bash as well, so I'm going to do that. And we got absolutely no block. So, what a great hand this turned out to be. Yeah, so this might be the end of the first run with the Ironclad. So let's 2 damage 3 times is not going to help a whole lot. Let's make him vulnerable. Let's do what damage we can. And that 4 damage is just going to take his block down, so that actually is still slightly better. So we'll do that, and he's going to cut most of our health away right now. Yeah. 3 hit points. So, flex because it's free. And now we get a bunch of defends when we don't really need them. Well, we're still probably going to die the next turn, but at least that gives us a fighting chance, I guess. So this one's going not too well. Not too well at all. And once again, no block. So if we don't kill him right now, it's over. And we're still weakened. So I'm looking at this right now and I'm thinking, no way, no chance. We'd have to have the vulnerability. That would take 2. We'd have to do it with Thunderclap and Strikes, and that's not going to be enough. So we're going to go out in a blaze of glory. Yeah, we're done. we are done, ladies and gentlemen. So he's going to kill us right here, and you're going to see the other part you need to know about Slay the Spire, and that is dealing with the inevitable defeat. You're going to lose more times than you win, and that's it. Vanquished. I wasn't prepared for this. So you saw right there the power creep going from the first level to the second level was quite significant. And random chance, we went two turns in a row without getting any block cards. So there's two things to take away from that. Yes, it's random chance. So some of that I can't avoid. The other argument you could say is, well, you took a few cards along the way, and they were always attack cards until you got that shrug it off at the end. So I was slowly building up more attack than block in my deck. So I actually helped increase the chances that I was not going to get a block card when I need it, even if it was just a few percent at a time. You know, that was partly still my fault. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, the good part about this, and like I said, I've played this a little bit, over the last month or so. So I've gotten through the first 3 floors before, just to be totally honest. I hope to show you that again. Hopefully I don't keep losing along the way. But even in failure, you gain some things. One, knowledge. If you've never played this game before, you learned a whole bunch of information about enemies that you're going to see again. So that's cool, because next time you see the lady who's got the suffer, you'll remember that she's going to start filling your hand up with bad cards. You're going to remember this guy adds block every time I attack him, so he's really hard to get through his armor constantly and whittle him down. So if you don't have a lot of damage or a lot of block, he's really hard to deal with. You saw how curses work, things like that. And so in some of these events, so you can kind of decide if they were worth it or not. So that's another thing. We could argue that me taking the extra HP loss to get the book set me up for a bad encounter where I just didn't have enough HP to get through the whole thing. And that, to be honest, that happened too. I could argue that without the book and some of the random powers, I may not have gotten farther either, because my deck of cards may not just have been up to snuff yet. And even that's random chance, depending on what the combat rewards are and what your selections are and things like that. So, and then I could argue that having Barricade in my hand the whole game and never using it is probably bad too. So there's a lot of mistakes, and there's a lot of things there were a lot of real mistakes, and then there's a lot of things that became liabilities that might still, as the game progressed, might have turned to be a positive, like the Barricade card. But it didn't, because we didn't make it that far. So, that's the way it goes. Look at the end screen here, and it'll give you a summary of what you got going on here. Let's see, I've climbed 22 floors, 6 enemies slain, killed Exordium elites, bosses slain, got 1, that was the first level boss. 192 is not great, but that 192 goes on the progress bar at the bottom. Every time I fill it up, I'm going to get an unlock, and that's going to be a card reward. And also over time, there'll be new relics that get unlocked in the shop and special events and things like that. So even on my previous save file where I've played for a month and a half, I've still got relics I've never seen. So there's a lot of that in the game. So it's pretty cool. It keeps you playing. Oh, that's great. So because we at least completed the first game, we're granted access to a new character, and this is the Silent. Plays completely different than the Ironclad, so we'll definitely try that one out on the next video, and we'll see how far we can get with her. It is a her, by the way, and it's kind of hard to tell with her cool robe and skull on her head, but she's kind of more of a thievy assassin kind of character. She's got poisons and shivs and little knives and things like that, so she's pretty fun. She's probably also my worst character, but we'll see how it goes. So anyway, back to the main menu, and that is Slay the Spire, the Ironclad, the first run that we'll do with the Ironclad that was not successful, but I'm planning on playing this game forever, just about, so I'm going to keep adding videos to this as I play. So obviously please comment and let me know if you'd like to keep seeing more Slay the Spire, and I'll keep doing it. But the truth is, I'm probably going to keep doing it anyway because I really love this game. So just laying the truth out there for you. But yeah, we'll do the Silent next time. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more successful. And hey, we'll probably see some more monsters and cards that we haven't seen before. So I hope you'll visit me for the next video. And thanks for watching this one and hanging out with me. And hope to see you again soon. Bye, everybody.